we're going to move over here. Yes, we are. We are going to move over here, but I have the link. How do I send the link? Ooh, this is a question. All right, Dave, darling producer, there is one person. I think you're the only person here. We're ending this broadcast, I think. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know what we're doing. This is strange. All right, guys, are you ready? Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all my veterans. I am so very thrilled to have a whole day. And like I was saying before, for our house, Veterans Day is kind of like Christmas. Do you know why? Because we get free food all day. We get Starbucks coffee, we get Dunkin' Donuts. What else do we get? What was that place? We went to a steak place. Dave got a steak, and then they went to, I don't know, they went to the Golden Corral. It's not my favorite. So I stayed home and worked. That was my preference. And it was really nice, actually. And so, yeah, that's what we did. So right now, I am looking at the live. Oh my gosh, I'm going to grab the link. And you know what I'm going to do? I am going to share it with Sean. We have got the most incredible person coming with us because I wanted to have a veteran come. And he is really, really awesome. So what I'm wondering is if I have the link on my cell phone copied, how do I share it? I don't know. Really, it's very interesting. Um, well, I think we should move to this one. How many people do we have on the regular one is the question. No, okay, we're ending that broadcast. All right. So we're now live here. We made it work. Okay. So we have a lot of things going on. We have a lot going on today. I'm going to try to do something and to hope to golly jeepers that it all is okay. And he is incredible. So when I was first starting out and I was first podcasting and doing all this stuff, Sean, I went to Podfest, which is a podcasting convention. All right. It's awesome, by the way. And Sean sat with me in the lobby of the Hilton for 2 hours, like from 2 to 4 in the morning, and outlined a whole business plan for me to help me out, to get me started because he's incredible. And yes, I sent it to you. What? I sent it to you, Dave, because you're going to email it to Sean. Am I right? Maybe. I hope. Oh, actually, I can pull it off the thing. Okay, you know what I love about technology is this. I just texted something to Dave. And since I texted it to him on the phone, I can now pull it off my computer text and I can email it to Sean. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So there we go. Now we have sent it. There we go. Santa May. Here's stopping by to say hello. Hello. It is so good to see you. Oh my gosh, I have missed you. I have been gone because we were at a retreat camp thing and we were at my son's wedding and now my computer's off and I can just focus on you and I can see. It is so good to see you. And yeah, I'm sorry our times have been off and weird, but we are now back and everything's good. And guess what? We have a plan. We have plans. Guys, we're going to get some incredible people. So and now I'm going to forget his name. There's a sheriff and he's all over YouTube because he like calls out people. He shows videos, he does all this stuff, and we're going to have him come with us. And we're working on getting Sheriff Wayne Ivey from Brevard County, Florida, because he is also a bad mammer jammer, you guys. Oh my gosh, some of these sheriffs, they do like games on the news and do all kinds of things, which how do you feel about that? I don't know. Oh, you're in DC, you were in DC. So we used to have family that lived in Tyson's Corner and McLean, like right there. I don't know if you know that area. And then we had friends that lived in Alexandria, Virginia, and now they live all over Europe because they're doing the whole government Europe thing, which is pretty cool. So anyway, all right. So yeah, if you guys know of any, so here's the thing. We have voices of justice here, and people love the judges and whatever, except that right now, not a lot of them want to do interviews because if you watch LawTube, you know what's going on. So I'm working on getting other judges and attorneys, and not YouTube ones, but other ones. So if you know any, send them my information or send me theirs. You can join us in the Discord or whatever, because yeah, join the Discord. Dave, can you put the link in there? I would love to yeah, have you join us. And also, I'm wondering, where is a space for my guest? That's a good question. Okay. He should be here. He's going to be here in about 10 minutes. So Sean Douglas is joining us. He is an Air Force veteran. He is a butt kicker. And before he gets here, I was thinking, we're going to do it at the end. At the end, I do have a sad thing. Um, at the end, we're going to do something, but we're not going to do it till the very end. We're going to go out with it, and it's the whole thing. But hello to those of you who joined us. Happy Veterans Day. If you're a veteran, happy Veterans Day. If you're not a veteran, if you're not, thank a veteran. They go through a lot of stuff, you guys. So since we have a veteran joining us, I thought I would tell you the story of what it's like to be a veteran's wife, because it's wonderful and terrifying, and there's all kinds of things. So my husband, he knew he was going to Iraq when we met. We had 5 children when we met. I had 4 and he had 1. And I said either he was totally crazy. Oh, Zanime, you're a vet. Happy Veterans Day. I hope you got all the food. We got lots of food. It's one of our favorite things. It's like Christmas. So we knew when we got married that he was going to be going to Iraq. I had 4 children, he had 1 child. We thought, wouldn't it be fun if we had more? So when he went to Iraq, I was just a couple months pregnant, and not a young pregnant person either, I've got to say. Kind of old mom, but whatever. Anyway, so a little bit of bed rest. So my husband goes off to Iraq, and I am home with 4 children, and occasionally a 5th one, and I am pregnant and on bed rest. Thank you. That's so cool. And I'm the family readiness group leader, because if you're not a military person, a family readiness group is an incredible thing. It can be. Sometimes they're kind of sassy, but in general, what a family readiness group does is we support the families while the veterans are deployed. Because if you've ever been through a deployment, there's a lot of crap that goes on during that time. So much, y'all. So much stuff. So the family readiness group leader, we had meetings every month, and I took care of the families, and maybe their washer went out and they needed a washer, or maybe they had issues. I would help them get what they needed as a military person, since their spouses were deployed. Mostly women. Most of the guys whose wives were deployed, you guys like to do your own thing, but we did have some men in there, and it was kind of fun because we had these meetings. We would have Christmas parties, like whatever, to keep as much normalcy as you can. The word they use is resilience. I'm not really a fan. You're here about the 2006 Toyota Camry. Well, Nick the Sixth says you just won. Congratulations. If I had one to give away, that's what I would be saying. But anyway, all right. So he goes and okay, I can tell you the story. So if you've ever been through a deployment, because it's Veterans Day, so we're talking about veteran stuff. I'm telling you what it's like to be a military spouse when someone's off to somewhere like Iraq, which is, not the funnest thing. I was very sad. I was going to miss him. I was sad. So I went through this whole boohoo thing the night before he left, and it was the thing. And then we drop him off, and we're driving away, and I'm finally thinking, okay, I can do this. It's only a year. And then I get a call saying, I left my computer in your car. I need you to come meet me. So I go back, and then I had to say goodbye to him again. And it was very sad, but it works out okay. Don't worry. The story just keeps getting better. It really does. So he goes, and I'm very sad. And then it's okay. I'm like, okay, I've got these kids. He's on deployment. I can do this. So then about a month later, he calls and says, guess what? I get to go to Florida. We didn't live in Florida at the time. We could meet up at the beach. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we could. I'm pregnant. You're deployed. I'd like to see you. It would be kind of nice. So I found someone to watch the kids, which isn't easy when you have 5 kids, people. But I did, because, yeah, I was going to go. Oh, Alabama, whatever. No, we went to Florida. We met. Okay, whatever. Anyway, went to the beach in Florida. I'm sticking to that story. Anyway, we go, and We get so burnt, people, so burnt at the beach, whatever beach it was. Oh my, I am very pregnant and I look like a lobster, which is not too bad considering Dave looks like a lobster, but he has to wear a military uniform, including those boots on very burnt legs. There's a whole thing. And then guess what? I had to say goodbye again because then he was really going. So then he went to Iraq. No, then wasn't gone quite yet because they go somewhere else and they do the thing. And then guess what? He says, I get to come home because it's Memorial Day. So I was so sad thinking that my husband's deploying to Iraq and I'm not going to see him for a whole year. And guess what? I got to see him 3 times, which was really cool. Then he does go, and so he's deploying. So for those of you who are new, I'm talking about what it's like to be a military spouse when your significant other is going off to war, because it's a thing and it's Veterans Day, and I thought I would share what that's like. So as the Family Readiness Group leader, whatever, I get all the information, which is nice. I kind of like that. I'm not going to lie. If you got somebody deploying, offer to be that person because you get info first, and it's very cool. But then it's going to be our anniversary right around the time that I'm due to have this baby. And guess what? Guess what? They let Dave come home from Iraq first. He gets to be the first one home because he's only been there for a couple months. And he came home on our anniversary. How cool is that? And 4 days later, our daughter was born while he was home, which was incredible. And then when she was 10 days old, he went back to Iraq. So guess what I had? 5 teenagers, and I had a newborn baby. And guess what else we had while Dave was in Iraq? Swine flu. It's true, we had the swine flu. I did not, baby did not, all children did. And did I get help? No, because nobody wants to come help you when your children have swine flu because it was highly contagious and apparently deadly. I did not know at the time. Yes, very lucky. I didn't know at the time 50% of the people were passing from that thing. I didn't know. So we just had the baby in one side of the house, kids in the other side of the house, husbands in Iraq. It's like any normal thing when you have, a deadly illness in your home, but it was fine. We got through it. It was great. And then the baby started crying. I will not say what has led up to this crying because, well, it can be a little divisive. Let's just say she got, it's when her neurospiciness started. We did not know what autism was at the time. We didn't know. All I knew was that this kid screamed morning, noon, and night. And the daughter that previously would let me hold her and cuddle her would get hysterical. If you've joined us, we're talking about Veterans Day. I'm talking about what it's like to be a spouse when your person is deployed to a place like Afghanistan, Iraq, whatever. Mine was deployed to Iraq. So that's what we're talking about here. So at this point, he has deployed, he has come home and visited, we've had our baby, and now he's gone. And I've got 5 teenagers, 1 baby, swine flu, lots of things. And guess what? Everybody was healthy, everybody was fine. And then the baby's screaming and screaming. And I had a little carrier and I carried her in that, and it was black. It was like this, like I wore all my children, before it was like cool. Like now it's a thing, I guess, but people thought I was a real dork for doing it back then. But whatever. You know what? It makes me feel better. So, hello, everybody, and happy Veterans Day. Talking about what it's like to be a veteran spouse when your husband or his wife is deployed to Iraq. So, I was telling everyone, I got these 5 teenagers, I got this baby, it's the whole thing. She screams and screams. But I don't want to tell him that because he's like, in a war zone. You know what? Oh my gosh, Zanime. Let me tell you what, put a pin in my story. Let me tell you guys something. If you are married to somebody or you're in a relationship or you have anybody that you care about that is in a war zone and you have the opportunity to, well, back in the day it was Skype or, whatever the calls are, and you hear a loud sound and see things shaking, it's a little terrifying when you're back here in the States. And but they say friendly fire. I just got to go for a minute, check on everybody. Everything's fine. I tell you what, I got the coolest husband. He was really good, and he took really good care of me, and mentally was very supportive, so that I did not have to worry. And I'm sure that it always was friendly fire. And Dave, I'm really glad you came home okay. we did lose a couple people, and that was very, very sad. Yeah, twice. Yeah, see, I only went through it once, with him deployed. He was deployed more, but I did not. I was not there when he was deployed. So anyway, Dave came home. Dave came home, and I've never seen my children so happy as the day he came home. Leading up to when he came home, oh my gosh, it was like buying new outfits and doing all these things. Nothing that he's going to care about walking in the door. Like, we could have been in old t-shirts. He wouldn't have cared. But we all got ready and we went down to pick him up, and my kids made banners, and oh my gosh, it was this whole big thing, and it was really cool. And while we were doing all this and getting ready for my husband to come home from his deployment, my oldest daughter was like, you know what? I think I'm going to sign up. And hey, what if I leave for boot camp the day after your husband gets home from deployment? And I was like, I think that would be really hard for me. And she's like, well, didn't think about that. Too late. So he got home from deployment, and the next day took her to boot camp with me. And that was the beginning of parenting adults and learning how to live this life. And if you've got little children at home, I know everybody tells you it's going to go so fast, and enjoy it while you can. And you think, I want to punch someone in the face the next time they say that to me. But I'm going to tell you that as a parent of a 35-year-old, good God, that can't be possible when I'm 39. It does go so fast, you guys. And you really can't go those days back. So stop wishing them away. Just stop it. Even when you're knee deep in the poop and the diapers and the whatever is flying out of their body in different ways, there is no more beautiful time than that. And that's telling you something, isn't it? It is. But really, y'all. And if you're a child of parents who are still here, give them a call and tell them that you love them, because texting's not the same. So that was my mom thing for the day. I should be checking my email because my guest is supposed to be here. I've given him 3 different links for tonight. This many. And you know what? I think he is probably not able to connect with me right now. So we're working on it. So I'm going to text him right now. Okay. Now, yeah, it's a little unprofessional to change your link 10 million times when you have a very professional person coming on your show. And this is one of the things. He is late, LOL, Air Force. Actually, okay, so fun fact about Sean. I made the time, this is my time or whatever, but this is the time that he reads to his kids and talks to his kids. And nothing's more important than that. I gotta say, like nothing. So we're going to end up going, he's here. Sean's here. Woohoo! All right, you guys, this is him. We were just talking about you. This is Sean Douglas, the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
Good, I can hear you. Okay, so it's funny because somebody said you're late, LOL, Air Force. But I was telling them that it's not that you're late. It's that I had to start at 9, and that parenting comes first. So
Yeah.
So Zaname says hi, Sean. So
Hello.
there we go. Zaname is also prior service. So
Perfect.
I just told my story about what it was like to be a spouse when Dave was deployed to Iraq, and I was pregnant. And my teenagers had swine flu, and
Oh my gosh.
it was a whole thing. We thought it'd be fun for me to be pregnant while he was gone. It was not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
My 10-year-old, so her mom was pregnant the entire time that I was deployed. And then I got home 4 days later, she was born.
Wow. I think that would be easier, to be honest, because I had my daughter, and then he was gone he came home on our anniversary. We had her, he left, and he was gone for 8 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No, and then I didn't, it's funny. I didn't deploy for another 3 or 4 years. I didn't deploy for another 4 years after that. And then I deployed again, and then that was my last one, and then I retired 3 years later.
Very cool. Well,
So
thank you
yeah,
for your
six or
service.
seven deployments. I think seven,
Oh my God,
six for sure.
that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah,
depends on the unit you're in. But I did a lot of in and outs too. I was there for 30 days. Like I would be gone for 3 weeks, then I'd be home for a month, then I'd be gone for 3 months, then I'd be home for 3 months, then I'd be gone for a couple of days, then I'd be home for a little, then I was gone. And I got off of one plane, got handed a set of orders, and then got onto another plane immediately. Walked off one plane,
oh
got
my
onto another
gosh.
and gone. Yeah. That was just it was the nature of my job, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Zanime said they had 2 years between their
well,
deployments. Yeah.
usually that's the cycle. So it's every 18 months. So like in at the base I was at Seymour Johnson in North Carolina, every other Christmas you were deployed. Every other Christmas. So um every other Christmas, one of the units from Seymour Johnson would be deployed. And then yeah, so it came out to about it's like a 13-month cycle. So it's like you're gone for I don't know 9 months, 10 months, whatever, and then a 13-month rest cycle begins, and then you get into a deployment cycle, which is like 3 or 4 months. You know, all your trainings and everything, and then you're gone, which comes out to um, about 16 months, like every like 16 months. It's usually the AEF band, which is Air Expeditionary Force for the Air Force. Your AEF band is from September to April. So you're deployed. You leave in August. You land in country around September, and then you don't leave till like April or May. Like that's like clockwork. Like every other year. So
That's wild.
yeah.
Dave wants to know what you did, what your MLS is, if you can share it. I don't know if that's
Yeah, so I joined in '01 and I started out as a tactical aircraft maintenance specialist, which is a 2 Alpha 3, basically a tactical crew chief on F-15s. And then I went to security forces. And then from security forces, I went to a special duty assignment where I was what's called an enabler. And I was on a recovery crew for crashed, damaged, like aircraft battle damage repair. So if a jet crashed or it got shot down or like whatever, we recovered the airplane or the bodies and or the bodies.
wow.
So I did that, and then I became a drill instructor, and then I went back to crew and jets, and then I took a inspection position. So I was an inspector, and then I finished out my career as an equipment manager and deployment manager. So
Wow.
I was basically after my last deployment. My first deployment was in 2003 to Qatar, and then we forward deployed to Baghdad and Kirkuk. That was my
Wow.
first deployment. And then I was in Bagram twice, Kandahar once. That's in Afghanistan. I was in UAE, Qatar, a place I can't tell you, and then I was back in Bagram. So
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So seven. Yeah. One of them I can't tell you.
Dave's asking if rescue and recovery is PJs.
Okay, so that's pararescue. That's that. Okay, yes, but we ran alongside them. Like our unit had our own armory and everything.
Oh
When we
wow.
traveled, we had Pelican cases. I would travel with Pelican cases through the airport full of weapons and ammunition and everything.
Wow.
So
So
Bagram in 2013. In 2013, I was a drill instructor at Lackland Air Force Base from 2009 to 2013. In 2014, I deployed to UAE. That was ridiculous. That wasn't even a deployment, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's still like tense. Some people are actually in hard billets, but UAE was cake. But yeah, all my bad deployments were like 2003 to 2008, and those were the bad deployments, and then one in 2018.
wow. Yeah, Dave only had two. His yeah. First one wasn't great, but there was other weird stuff there. And sometimes it's not about what you think it's gonna be about. Sometimes, yeah. Oh yeah,
Right.
our nephew is he deployed or is he deploying to Bulgaria?
So we have people. You have people deploying all over the world now because of all the stuff that was happening in Israel and Gaza and all that stuff. We got
Yeah.
people all over the place, and then there's people that are deployed to places. You're like, what the hell are we doing there? Like I'd love to tell you, but so I
Right.
keep in contact with a few remaining people that I was stationed with, that are pretty much. I mean, they got like 2 years left. One of the my boss just retired earlier this year. That was cool. One of the other guys I started with, he retired. I think it's like two or three guys left out of my original guys that I served with that are pretty much wrapping up their careers, but they're deploying really close to Syria, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, our daughter was in the Navy, and she picked the Navy because she didn't want to deploy very often, but they were the only nuke
That's
carrier
all they do.
that was ready. Yeah, well, the things
I
that
mean,
people tell you when you're being recruited. And so since they were the only one, so they had gone over to, oh my gosh, where is it? Right outside of Iraq. Well, what is that water?
Dead
I
Sea.
can't, yeah, whatever. But anyway, so she
Yep.
goes over there. They don't realize how dangerous it is because
Oh
they're on
yeah.
the carrier, right? So they're not hearing news. And then as soon as they got back, since they were the only one ready, they got cleaned up and they went right back. And then they
Yep.
were not as comfortable because they knew they had the Strait of Hormuz and they picked up the pirates. I don't know if you remember. It was really cool. I got to do the Tiger
The
cruise this year.
what are they called?
I
Yeah,
can't
there's a
remember
group out there. It's like the Husis or the Humis or Husis or something like that.
something.
They're, they're yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. Yeah, Dave was in Talifar. I could not think of the name, so he was relatively close to Syria in a
Yeah.
fob out there. But then
Oh yeah.
that got taken back a few years ago, and it was very sad
Yeah.
after all that time.
That's what happens. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That sucks.
So, Dave, how many people are still in your unit? I don't know. Yeah, he was our Army Aviation. He was
Oh, nice. Yeah.
the I can't think of any words right now. Cavalry, which is right now helicopters. But they still get the spurs and the hats as their thing.
Oh. Oh wow.
You don't need the spur on the helicopter, but
My
whatever.
my friend Robert Thibodeau was a cavalry officer, like in
Oh, that's
the '80s or something like that.
oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
Dave went.
'80s or '90s. I think '80s or '90s. I don't know. He's in his '60s, so I don't know.
Oh,
'80s, '90s.
also, Dave's putting in things in the chat. I have no idea what they mean, but I'm guessing that somebody does. If you're in the military,
NCOIC is non-commissioned officer in charge.
okay. There we go.
Yeah,
So there we go. Yeah, that was the thing. He was going to come with us, but he is not feeling well, so it's you and me.
that's okay.
So, but yeah, but I
That's
thought,
okay.
I don't know if
It's
there's
great that
anything.
David's here.
Right, he's here. Yeah, oh, you retired last year. Well,
Oh,
congratulations on your.
nice,
If you wanted
nice.
to retire, it's a hard thing. Like Dave did not want to. He was medicaled out, Army, just like Dave. Okay, congratulations. And so he can count down like to the day of how long he was in. It's kind of a bummer. Did you
Yeah,
want
20
to
years and
retire?
4 days. I was in
Right,
20 years and 4 days.
but you got 20 years, so that's very cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, do
Yeah.
we want to do something special for the people watching and the veterans and all that?
Yes, if we can. You got something
Okay,
special?
perfect. So, everybody should take notes right now and start writing
Okay.
because I'm going to blow your mind. Are we ready for
Okay.
this?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. Make sure you write this down. If you're a veteran or family of veteran, make sure you write this down. Okay.
Okay.
Don't miss out on this. There's
I'm
a
getting it.
lot of things that the VA doesn't tell you, and a lot of places that offer discounts and all kinds of things that nobody knows about. So, um, there's like trips and all kinds of websites, and some of them are like cheesy and fake and try to rip you off. It always happens that way. But there's a lot of places. Okay, so here's your first one. You have to go to Vegas or to Atlantic City and go to Caesar's Palace and get the salute card.
Okay.
Yeah. The salute card, all you do is you show a military ID, which I have. I have a retirement ID, right? It just says retired, right? So if you don't have a military ID, then you show your DD 214. Okay. You go to the cashier cage, either in Vegas or in Atlantic City. You go to Caesar's Palace and you tell them, I would like my salute card. The salute card will make you silver status for the Caesar's rewards.
No way. That's cool.
That right there unlocks 50,000 points and a free 4-day vacation to the Bahamas for free every year.
Wow.
All you do is pay the taxes. It's $333. And you stay at the Atlantis in the Bahamas and you fly into what's it called? Newark or something like that. Newark, and Bahama Airport. Just type in, I think it's Newark, something like that. Anyway, so you do that. So you get a 4-day Bahama trip. Now they do have blackout dates, but it's not really blackout. For example, in November and December, if I wanted to go to the Bahamas, I would have to buy 2 nights and then I get 2 nights free. And every night is $150. So if I spend $300, I'll get my other 2 nights. Plus I got to pay taxes, which is about $300. So for $600, none of it includes airfare though. And airfare is pretty cheap, $500, $600, $700 or whatever, So for what, $1,000, you're going to stay at a resort in the Bahamas, airfare and hotel. And if you get the 4 days, which is like, let's say April, right? All you're going to pay is plane tickets. That's it. And like some taxes. So that's it.
Really cool.
The next one is you're going to get these 2 cards right here. Okay. This is only in Atlantic City. Okay. This is called right there, the Oceans Rewards Veteran Card. Oceans Rewards.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to write all this down and I'm going to put it in the description so people are watching later. They
Perfect.
can just.
So what that does is what happened to my other card? I don't know what I just did with my card. What that does is it unlocks a free 10-day cruise on the Oceans Resort cruise line. It's like MSG, I think it's called. But Oceans Resort in Atlantic City has their own cruise line. It is free. There's no port fees. So you go there to Atlantic City, to Oceans Resort, show them you're a military ID or a DD-214, and they will hand you the rewards card, which is this one, your preferred card. But then they're going to hand you a veteran card as well. And that veteran card, you can play on that card, all the slots and everything, but it unlocks a free 10-day cruise every single year because the card expires every year. You have to go back to Atlantic City every year to go and get the card. And then you get a free cruise every year.
So let's say you could just fly to Atlantic City and do all these things and come home and then take trips.
Yep.
That's wild.
Yep. And then the other one, so I stayed at Caesar's Palace for 2 nights, and I think my total bill was like $68.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I stayed in Caesar's Palace in a badass room, and I think I paid like $68. I think the resort fee, was like $40 or something like that or whatever. And then the the deposit. The deposit was like $200. Right. So I think literally for 60 to 70 bucks, I think I stayed 2 nights at Caesar's Palace after I got that card. I was like, this is fantastic.
Yeah. And then you can
and then
do all the things.
I'm winning like, some money on slots and stuff like that. But like to go to the Bahamas, like any, you know what I mean? So it's just, you have to figure out the months that are like, you get all 4 days, or do you have to pay for 2 for you to get to? So I know November, December, always, right? So it's worth it. Yeah. Go to Vegas, go do that. But the Um, I would go to Atlantic City just because I live in Michigan now. I used to live in Utah, but now I live in Michigan. I would just go to Atlantic City because they have a Caesar's Palace in Atlantic City. I just knock out both.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that makes sense.
just knock
That's
out both.
incredible. Because we know
Yeah.
about a lot of deals, but we've never heard of either of these. So,
And then there's another one. So it's called the Margaritaville at Sea,
okay.
and they do
Oh,
something called the Heroes Cruise. They do it like twice a year, and the Heroes Cruise is for fire, police, nurses, doctors. Gus, hey, and of course veterans, but it's all like first responders and like their families and all that, right? So it's free cruise, and it's either a 2 day or a 3 day cruise, and you basically pay the taxes and port fees.
wow. That's incredible.
So yeah, so I retired in 2021, and then I was running my speaker business and all that stuff, right? And then I started doing some leadership trainings and things, but I skill bridged out of the military, which is like the new, like, you're gonna go to a training or certification, whatever, right out of the military. You get to leave earlier in your contract, right? So mine was 6 months. So I got to leave 6 months early, which was fantastic. And I was still getting military pay while going through school and all that, right? So it was great. But I got my CDL in 2021, and then I was part-time driving a truck, like part-time. And then I did that until like middle to end of 2022. That was like towards, I think it was like the fall of 2022. Um, and then what I did was I got hired on at ABF as a supervisor to train like all the other supervisors, because I was doing leadership training and corporate trainings and things. And they hired me on. And then in May of 23, I quit that job and went speaking full time, and I've been doing it ever since. So I got a military retirement and a military disability. So and then I just do my speaking and podcasting and all that other stuff. That's what I do full time now.
Yeah, it's incredible. You guys, he's really good. If you all need speakers, hey, we got American Courts, we got Emily Smiles. It is so good to see you guys. This is my good friend Sean Douglas, and he is a retired Air Force. Right, you're retired Air Force. Yeah, I always, whenever I introduce people, I always think, yeah, I don't know, and he is just an incredible person in general, and so that's why I wanted to have him with me so he could, you know,
Yeah. And
thanks. You might be
I'm
experiencing.
80% disabled.
Okay.
I
So
didn't get the
if
full
you
100 because I my sleep apnea test wasn't bad enough, I guess, but it was bad. It wasn't bad enough. That was
we
the funny
we
part.
fought it. We fought sleep apnea for 7 years. He had to go do a thing with Washington D.C. It was a whole big deal.
Hmm.
Dave can help you get to 100. He is really good at that. Like legitimately, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yeah,
it's a thing.
I need a knee surgery. They only gave me like 30% for my knee, but I need a knee surgery. Um, PTSD and anxieties, 40%, and then a bunch of other stuff that I've got, ankles and knees and other painful areas and everything only gave me like 80%, which I mean it's still good,
It's
it's
something,
that's
yeah.
still
But
that's still
government
pretty
math,
good,
man,
but
because if you added up all the numbers, it would be over 100. But then,
oh,
so
it's
if
way
you're
over. I'm like 130%. Yeah.
right, so for everybody
The
watching,
math is stupid. The math is
it is,
stupid.
it is,
It's like 10% for that. So it's like from 100 to 91, and then 10% of that. And then it's like from 91 to like 82. And
yeah,
then by the time you get down to the next 10%, it's like 73. And then it's like 65. And then and you look down, and then they take the whatever number you have left, like let's say 20%, and you're like, you have 20% left, you're 80%. Like, that's so stupid.
how does it
So
work? Yeah, it's really, really stupid. So if so for
yeah.
you and for people, what this is what we did. There's a thing on the VA website that tells all the body parts and what percentages they count for. And I
Yep.
printed all of them, and I highlighted anything that I saw
Yep.
different, and we filed all and Dave's like, "Are you kidding me? Because it's a lot." But yeah. Okay, so what are your topics for speeches? Oh, and Zanime, if you have the opportunity to hear him speak, he is really, really good. Like, I mean, he's speaking now, but like on stage, like it's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
I appreciate that. I'll be speaking at Podfest.
Yeah, I'll be speaking at Podfest. I will not
Perfect.
be leading the volunteers though. I am doing speaking of the pod, and I am one of the comedy night people. So I'm helping lead the
What?
comedy track. So
There's, did you say
last
comedy night?
yeah, so last year we had a stand up, an open mic night, and
Oh
I
my
was one of
God.
the
I do
yeah.
stand-up comedy.
Well, dude, you're on the list. Just you're gonna
How
be
did
on
I
the
how did
list.
I not hear about this?
Because they didn't promote it and it was the last night in a side room and something else was going on. But it was so good. It was like standing room. So now we're going to do it again and it's going to be huge. And we're going to have a track. There's going to be a whole comedy track.
So
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 it's
is there a place to do stand-up comedy like somebody
yeah,
like open mic?
yeah, there's going to be an
I
open
have
mic
to do
night.
this.
You're
I've
you're
done
in.
I've done stand-up comedy in LA, San Diego, New York, Raleigh, Orlando.
Yeah.
Basically anywhere I go to speak. Where the hell was I? Somewhere in Texas. Austin. I was in Austin, Texas. Anywhere I go to speak, I always try to find a comedy club.
Well,
Always,
oh, you're
and then
so
I'll
in.
go and do an open mic.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. So, and I can't remember, Dave, what is Bob's last name? This is so embarrassing. So Bob runs, okay, I can't, all the names of everything are gone out of my head. He runs one of the big comedy places in LA, and I had to introduce him. Forgot, I didn't know who he was. So I was like, and
Oh my
here's
gosh!
Bob. And everyone's like, Bob's a really big deal. And I'm like, well, there he
Right.
is. I don't know. Like, but yeah, it was really good. So it's Steve Kimbrough and Jeff Dwoskin and Bob and me. And we were the MCs, and then
No
we do a
kidding.
thing.
You
Yeah,
get like 3 minutes of the on the open mic, or what? Like,
you
what do you get?
do.
Like
You
three
get
minutes?
3 minutes. Exactly.
This is amazing.
And you're gonna be
Oh
in my
my god!
lineup so that I can introduce you because we
Yes.
each get our own
Put me
lineup.
in the comedy. Let me know where I need to show
You're
up. All
okay.
that. I love doing stand-up comedy. Oh my god.
All right, so this is another thing, guys. If you're going to be in Orlando in January, you got to come to Podfest because it's amazing.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of
And if
video
you're in the
stuff.
military, we do something called Military Creator Con the day
Yes,
before Podfest. Me and James Van Pruin. This is the last year that we're having it at Podfest, and James and I are taking it out of Podfest and creating its own event called
that's
Military Creator Con. It's all creators, podcasters, video, like YouTubers, all kinds. So it's currently right now going to be hosted with Podfest on Thursday. But after that, we're
it's
going to
going to
have
be
our
exciting.
own event in
All right.
2026. It's going to be a
Well,
standalone event.
Dave and I will be in with you if you want us. And Zanami wants to know. Okay, so middle of January, Dave, can you put the link for Podfest
Podfest.com.
podfestexpo.com, right?
Podfest.com.
Is
Makes
it
it
a
easy.
Podfest? Can you? I see he always makes it okay. Anyway, yeah.
I just tell
So
people Podfest.com.
and they got a really good hotel for cheap this year. Last year, the
Yep.
hotel was horrible. The year before, we no, it's podfestexpo.com, podfest.com.
Podfestexpo.com. Okay.
They don't have that. Somebody, oh, all right. Somebody may be buying a website tonight. Maybe me. Anyway, so there we go. What is the name of that? Oh my God, what is the name of it? Where do you buy websites from?
Oh, so it's Squarespace now. It's not
No, the
Google
cheap
Domains, it's
one.
Squarespace.
The cheap
It's
one.
$12. $12. It used to
Yeah,
be
but
Google Domains, but Google Domains swapped over to Squarespace.
did they really?
I mean,
That's so
GoDaddy.
weird.
I guess you go through GoDaddy, but yeah,
No,
you
I
go through
usually
Squarespace.
Namecheap. That's what it is. I go through Namecheap because it's cheap.
Oh, I through Google Domains, I used to pay like $12 a year.
Okay, that's not bad. All right.
Yeah,
So
which
when
now
and
I pay
where?
that through Squarespace.
Okay. So what? They're asking when and where is the Military Creator Con? Okay, so it's going
So
to be Thursday.
it's Thursday prior to Podfest. and it'll be part of the schedule. I'm going to send out. I have a video that's already been made.
Okay.
So Military Creator Con is the day before Podfest on Thursday,
Okay.
and it's a 1 day kind of conference, all in one room, bunch of speakers. You know, talking about military stuff and all that. Like best practices, kind of like a mini version of like Podfest. So it's just gonna be a bunch of speakers, what's working for them, and it's more of like a mastermind than like a conference. But once James Van Pruin and I take it out of there, it'll be like its own conference.
Yeah.
But it's just 1 day, bunch of speakers. We're masterminding best practices, what's new in the trends, all that stuff. So
All right, and it's going to be at the Renaissance Orlando. They got rooms for $170 a night, which is really incredible for the Renaissance.
it's
You go to
incredible.
podfestexpo.com, you can book your thing. Oh, wait, but you guys have a special code. You have a special code when you order your tickets for Podfest. If you put in, is the word military? What is it? There's a special word that Mara was telling me, and Mara Lago said, well, I'll have to text her and ask her what it is,
I
and then
I don't
they
even
get
know.
special credit from Podfest if people put in that code. So
What
I'm gonna find out.
I don't know what code.
I don't
Was that
know.
advertised?
No.
Great.
Okay, so I'm messaging Mar-a-Lago right now as we're
Perfect.
going live, and actually
So
we're
there's
late, but
another
that's okay. If we
so
want to
there's
keep
another
talking.
website called GOVX. So GOVX, I went to a Detroit Tigers game for $30 and I sat on the dirt for like $30. It's cheap. Um, Sports tickets, like event tickets, plane travel, like airfare, hotels, rental cars. I mean, everything cheap. GOVX, and you link it right to the ID.me, and that's how you kind of like vet your military service. So
Right.
I log into GOVX and it tells me, how do you want to log in? I just hit ID me, and then all my military information's there. And then yeah, I just look at airfare, hotels. Like there's some hotels that you can look at, like let's say it's a Hilton. Look at the Hilton, it's 100. I mean, I could probably go on GOVX right now and look at the Renaissance, and it'll probably be $50 to $80 cheaper. I'm
Oh well.
assuming, I don't know, but I mean, I've looked at hotels on like Priceline, and they're about 130, $140, and then I go to GOVX, and it's like $99. I'm like, oh hell yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, and VetTix is another one. Oh my
Vet Tix,
gosh.
yep. So
We went to
Vet
the
Tix,
Daytona 500 for what, like $10 a piece or something? And did you know if you sit too close, you can't see the cars? They're just like
yeah,
yeah, so
yeah,
fast.
and Vet Tix is good for concerts and stuff too, because they have what's called set asides. So a lot of the venues and a lot of different places have set asides for veterans, and then they go up on these websites, and then you have to, like on Vet Tix, you gotta bid for like concerts. You gotta bid for them, But they're like, I mean, obviously Taylor Swift's probably not going to be there, but like if you want to go to a Chris Stapleton concert, if you like Chris Stapleton, country music, or Jelly Roll or something, you probably go for $50, $100, $200. When his tickets are like 1,000, like they're way
Right.
cheap.
Well, and our
But
daughter wanted to go to
I
Ed
do everything through
Sheeran.
GOVX.
Okay. Well, we have to check that out. Yeah, they had Ed Sheeran like day before or something, super cheap.
Yeah.
So, all right,
Oh
this
yeah.
is good information. Dave, can you
Oh yeah.
put GovX in there? And then, Dave, can you put the thing I just texted you in there too? So, podfestexpo.com. If you put code military, I don't know if you get a discount or not, but the military group gets credit, and then they get more funding from Podfest if you put it in there. So we encourage
Perfect.
you to do that. Yeah, that's crazy that
I
you're
had
doing that
no
because
idea.
I may be speaking there something about military spouse things or something we had talked about. Mara and I had talked about it. I don't know. We'll see. So,
Very, very cool.
but when I was going to be doing the volunteering, I didn't have time for anything else, and I need time for other things. So,
Right.
we're going to do it. And yeah, this YouTube thing is a lot. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of time. It's wonderful, but it's a lot of time. Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. Podfest.com and code. There we go. All right. This is so cool. Well, so guys, we're gonna go in about 5 minutes because because it's late. But so I just wanted you to know we went late because you know what? We're just chatting and that's cool. And then we do have a special thing at the end. I know there's not that many people here right now. I'm gonna try to play us out with a song for a little remembrance thing. We're gonna end on that though, because we're not gonna talk about it right now. Yeah, we're gonna talk about positive things. Okay. Also, if you have a military ID, you can get a discount at a lot of places. Dave is not afraid to ask anybody. Even at Best Buy, when he was
Hmm.
going to Iraq, he's like, "Can you give us a deal?" And he was going to get this really nice gaming computer. And at the last minute, he got each of us a computer so that we could, you know, communicate or whatever. And he's like, "Can you give me a discount?" And they're like, "No, but I can give you a couple of, you know, holders, and I can give you some mice." And like, yeah, you never know. So you know, not
Yeah.
like the stuff you're doing, like cruising and stuff. So we'll have the links to all of those things. If you've just joined us, we're talking veteran things, and thank you for your service. If you are military, thank a veteran. If you're not, we're wrapping up Veterans Day with Sean Douglas, who is an amazing veteran and human. That's why he's here. And he's shared some incredible discounts that will be in the description. It's going to take YouTube 24 hours to get it all together, but it will, and then it'll be there, which will be really nice for everybody. We're going to have create military con at Podfest this year. He was talking about, and a comedy thing. Hopefully, they're not overlapping on the same day. That would suck.
I really want to be a part of that lineup for stand-up comedy.
But and that'll be in the evening. It'll be after 5. So yeah,
Perfect. Would love to
yeah,
do that.
it is so much fun. So I'm telling Kimbro you're there. So yeah,
Yes, I'm there.
you're there for sure.
I'm gonna rock the room.
That is so cool. Yeah, it was interesting. Last year we had people who have, professionals to people who have dabbled in it, to people who had never stood up before, and really nobody sucked too bad. It was just funny. There was one older guy that was vastly inappropriate and made it uncomfortable, but other than
Uh,
that, but other
yeah,
people didn't seem to mind as much as I did, but yeah, he was a lot, but people laughed, and that was the point. So, there you go.
yeah. There you go.
We tried to tell people this was not a child-friendly thing. They're like, "Please get your kids out of here." And people are like, "No, our kids can see anything." So they do,
Right. Oh yeah.
you know?
Very cool.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
being doing stand up, it really helps you with crowd work, and it really helps you to be a better speaker because comedy is all about timing and delivery. And
yes,
so it's not so much like speaking is not so much what you say, but it's how you make them feel. And it's the
yeah,
same thing with comedy. It's not so much what you say, it's how you say it.
yeah,
And you can say something one way and it's not funny. You change a couple words, you change the timing of it, and oh, like it kills. Like it's so
yes,
funny.
yeah, it's a whole thing. And it's it's
Yeah.
it's not as easy as it looks. It looks like it's so easy, you know?
You're right. Right.
But, you know,
Yeah. It's just
yeah,
timing and delivery. That's all it is. So, and it's not inside jokes because nobody gets inside jokes. Like those are only funny
right?
to like one or two people, but it's relatable,
Yeah,
and it's the funny stuff that's like relatable. And again, it's the timing and the delivery.
yeah, yeah. And it's you guys, you
So
gotta come. Even if you don't go
a
to
lot
the
of
whole
fun.
Podfest, you could go to that and just laugh because,
Yeah.
you know
That'd be
That would
awesome.
be awesome. Oh, I'm so glad that you're coming. This is so cool.
No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I love stand-up comedy.
Oh, yeah. What time? Oh my gosh, it's 10:50. It's not gonna let me. I'm trying to put something out right now. Sorry. While we're doing this, because I'm doing this, oh my God. Okay. I'm doing this thing and it's not. It doesn't want me to do it, but that's okay. All right. Time to wrap it up. All right. Time to wrap it up, Dave says. It is time to wrap it up. So, guys, Sean, thank you so much for joining me. It was amazing. You have given everybody really incredible things. So thank you for that. I knew you'd bring it. I didn't know what you'd bring, but I knew it would be it. And you exceeded my expectations. So thank you. I appreciate it. And
Thank you for having me on.
yeah, and oh, where can they find you if people want to find you to speak or whatever?
Yeah, so it's the Success Core, like Marine Corps, CORPS. Just go to thesuccesscore.com and check it out. I got all kinds of videos. There's a speaker tab. My TEDx talks are up there. My podcasts are on the homepage. Everything that you need to know about me is all on there. And, would love to get to know you.
That's awesome. All right. That is perfect. And we can't go quite yet. I mean, you can go if you want to go. I can't go because I'm trying to set this thing, and then I got to talk about something. So talk. Here, it's your 1 minute elevator pitch.
My 1 minute elevator pitch. Um,
They always tell us,
Yeah. I'm not big on selling. I'm just big on delivering value. And what I do is I speak on resilience, leadership, team building, team performance, and business positioning strategies for speakers, podcasters, and authors. And the only service I have is I get speakers booked on podcasts and stages. Authors and speakers, authors, podcasters, people that I work with, right? I'll get you booked on podcasts and stages, online virtual events, paid gigs. If you want to be a speaker, I'll show you how. If you want to get booked for a TEDx, I do that too. And so, reach out, send me an email, send me a message. I'm all over every social media. And, you know, if you need anything, go get the help that you need. Veterans, we're a little proud. We don't like to say that we have a problem, or we don't like to, tell people that, we're struggling, whatever. But I'm here to tell you, I battle every day. If, on my best day, I fail a little, perfect. You know, I'm very comfortable juggling 13 balls and dropping three. I just don't want to drop them all, you know. So, it's not about being perfect, but it's about running your race and not anybody else's race and competing, but it's running your race at your pace. And it's being extremely comfortable being uncomfortable in your growth. And so you can't just run in place and spin your wheels. You have to take one step in front of the other. And pretty soon you're running and you're sprinting, and then you tumble and fall and you get up and you take a breath and you keep on going. Because even though we're civilians now, we were still in the military at one point, and we're veterans, and we don't know when to quit. And so just because we're a civilian doesn't mean that our core values change, So, if you're struggling and you don't have it all together, perfect. Me too. So on paper, I look fantastic. And 99% of the time, I am doing fantastic most days. But there are some days that I'm not doing well, and I get in my own head and I get in my own way and I second guess. And then I get into a downward spiral and I start spiraling out of control. And then, so it's like, what grounds you? What mindfulness techniques do you have? What gratitude habits do you have? Like, what resilience techniques do you have that is going to spiral you upwards and not downwards? So
Yeah.
don't think you got to have it all put together, because we're never going to have it all put together. You just need to be comfortable with yourself. That's really what it comes down to is self-love, self-care, self-worth. That's it.
And it's not selfish.
No.
We were all taught that, and it's not.
Yep.
So that's amazing. Well, thank you so much. I mean, okay, about all the things you've said, that right there, that is what somebody needed to hear today. So, on a sadder note, um, I may cry. I'm gonna cry. Um, so I started my channel in March. I've had two moderators, and just found out today that one of them passed away. And she lived alone, and she was alone, and it's very sad. She is a amazing, amazing person. So I wrote a song for her. It is now, I just put it up, and it's called While We're Here. And so if you're watching, you can go watch, because I want to make sure someone remembers.
Was it TC?
No, it was Jay.
Oh.
So we've lost a lot of people. Um, a lot of people, a lot of military people, mostly military
Yeah.
people. And which I didn't really want to hit on that too much today because I wanted today to be more positive, whatever stuff. But then I found out and I thought, you know what, I have to.
Yeah.
I can't just, you know,
Tough.
yeah, especially for someone who really wanted to be a bright spot in everyone else's world and didn't have a lot in their own world, you know?
Yeah. That's
Just
tough.
to let it go and just say, well, not a lot of people knew her, whatever. I feel like nobody deserves that.
Right.
Mhm. So anyway, all right. So thank you again for being here. Thank you. Zanime said she'll be in touch. Here, see, okay. I don't know, man. See, that's the thing about names. I don't know. They will be in touch, which is really
Perfect.
cool. And yeah, hopefully we get some more people to come into the military thing because I think that'll be really
Oh yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. It'd
Very
be so
excited.
fun.
Yeah. So, and now maybe Dave can be part of it because he wasn't going to have any time. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Sean. Thanks, everybody. I love you all. Mwah! And we will see you soon.
See ya.
Bye, guys. If I can figure out. All right, I can.